we go. Welcome to the show. This is Nailed and Screwed. And no, I don't mean that kind of nailed and screwed. So move along, you freaking perverts. On this show, we'll share some of the wild stories that take place during construction, flipping, and other side jobs conducted by my man Chris and his crew of expert general contractors. We'll also throw in a couple of informational sessions when it comes to the flipping business and share some ideas on what it takes to become successful. As for me, you can call me Captain Morgan, and I'll be alongside Chris asking the stupid, unexperienced questions because I don't know shit about shit when it comes to construction and flipping houses. So with that being said, let's jump into what we got lined up for today's show.
All right. So today's show is called The Day from Hell. It's about a little flipping we did, some construction. But before we get into that, this is live for everybody, including Morgan, because he doesn't know what I'm about to say. So last week's episode was about landlord-tenant, and everything's been all good for a little bit, and I get a text message today.
Mm-hmm.
So the person that was renting from me apparently came out of whatever was going on, hospital, something. She said she was in a coma and wants to know how she's going to get all her shit back. And I don't really know how to answer that.
So this is not the sister, but the actual tenant, right?
Yes.
All right.
So I don't know if they spoke, because clearly her sister came, got her stuff. So she's now out and texting me repeatedly today, mind you, that she wants to know how she can get her stuff. She's so sorry, blah, 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 but she wants to get her stuff. I don't know what stuff she's referring to. Because if her sister got her stuff, I walk in the room, the only thing left, like I said, was the pots of water with cigarettes.
Yeah, like what's left in there and all that stuff.
Right. It was my shit.
All right.
You want my stuff? So it just, I want to just, kind of, let the listeners know that this saga is continuing. I thought we were good, but just stay tuned and we might have some more interesting information as the weeks go.
All right.
So just want to throw that in there. All right. So the day from hell. So we got my partner, Brian, on the phone, who I've known for approximately 40 years. And obviously Morgan knows him. We all know.
It's been 40 years?
Literally.
God damn.
In 6 months, I think we're hitting 40 years.
That's a long ass time.
It's not an exaggeration.
That doesn't mean we're 40. Could be.
No, we're a little over.
Yeah.
So Bry's calling in because this story, we labeled this The Day from Hell, he and I. This was some years back. And so we're going to start talking about it. So let's get Bry on the horn here. I think he's on, right?
Is he on? I don't know.
You around? You there?
Gentlemen.
All right.
How we doing?
There he is.
Good. Glad to be on the show. So I'll get started a little bit. Bry's going to jump in and correct me and add to the fun here. So Bry and I are flipping a house. We're moving along well. Things are going good. We're getting rough inspection. So little tidbit of what rough inspection is. Drywall's not up. All the utilities, electric, and all that are ran. We're getting inspection. And we always say, once we pass rough inspection, it's all downhill from there. Inspector comes in. Everything's looking good. He goes in the back addition. He's like, oh, this is going to be a room? Yeah. Is there a footer? Which a footer is the concrete that goes around the perimeter, right?
Say, what the fuck's a footer?
A footer is about 3 feet of continuous concrete or cinder block that goes from the slab. As all you Levittown people know, we're on slabs here. We no basements. 3 feet down, surrounds the perimeter of the house, the room, whatever. It's there, and there's an insulation. It's to not allow frost to get in to the house. So as soon as Brian and I were making this addition, and we're making it conditioned, which with heat and air, now it becomes conditioned, you have to have a frost-free footer. I told the inspector, I'm like, I don't know if there's a footer. I mean, there was a structure here, there was a closed porch. He goes, yeah, porch is fine, but once you put heat and air, you got to add a footer. So we have a structure up, existing concrete. We have to put a fucking footer in. That means you got to underpin it. So you have to go outside the house, dig down 3 feet, and come under the slab 12 inches. And get a man in there to dig.
3 feet underneath?
3 feet down.
That's ridiculous.
12 inches in. All right.
That's what she said.
So I call Bri, tell him, right, Bri, tell you, and he's like, what was your reaction?
I think pretty much what you could hear from Morgan's reaction. All right, this sucks.
Yes,
So right
exactly.
away we got a task that kind of sucks. So
I think
that's
you're
what
being
we're up
nice.
against
I think your
before
exact
anything
word
goes
was,
wrong.
I think your exact word was fuck.
Yeah.
So
you want me to reenact that? Fuck. Yeah, I think you're right.
That's exactly what it sounded like. So he's like, all right, what are we going to do? So we come up with a plan, right? We're like, okay, we're getting prices on concrete trucks. Do we do that? Do we mix by hand? What do we do? Now, mind you, the concrete, we're a good 80 feet from the street where this needs to go. And it needs to wrap around the addition. So 80 foot plus. So we're getting prices. And it's got to be on a Saturday because it's when we have it lined up. So the cost is astronomical.
This is how much? What are we talking?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but whatever. Let's just say it's
Like less than $1 million, right?
Oh yeah, less than $1 million. But let's say it's
Slightly.
let's say it's $2,000 for a normal pour.
Yeah.
It's like whatever, 3,500 or 4. And this is years ago, right? Me and Bri, like the money is strapped, right?
Right.
It's like this is for this. We ain't got
This is the startup, right? So
Yes.
not like super.
we're not 20 houses in.
Yeah,
we're like
yeah.
a couple. You know what I
Right.
mean?
This
So-
is number 2, literally.
Number 2, literally, right?
Okay.
Right? Number 2. So for he and I, right? Like I was out there first, Bri came in. We'll tell that story a different time, how this all came about, the
Right.
whole team. So we do this. So we're talking about, I'm like, fuck, man, we can't do this additional cost.
This is for the footer, right?
For the footer.
Yeah.
So we're just talking concrete.
I
No
can't
matter,
believe it costs that much money.
I'm throwing numbers.
Right,
Like, whoever's
right,
out there, like,
right.
it doesn't fucking cost them. Look, dude, it was 6 years ago, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, you got to dig no matter what. So we're getting somebody with a machine. We don't have a machine at the time. We got to get somebody to dig, all right? But you also need a person in that trench to get under. Like the machine's not going to get under the house.
Yeah.
Like,
so
look, right here on your floor, it's got to come in 12 inches.
I'm sitting here thinking like, I'm seeing a 3-foot ditch with a 3-foot midget or something that's got to sit under there and like pour this concrete, help you pour the concrete under there.
We're not even there, dude. We're talking about
Oh my
digging right
God.
now.
That's
All right,
ridiculous.
so it's, correct me if I'm wrong, bro. I think it's about 45 linear feet around, like the whole thing, right? Like 3 sides, something like that.
sounds
right?
about right.
Something like
Right.
that. So we're kicking around, and then we're like, all right, why don't we just rent one of those big ass concrete mixers from Home Depot, the kind you like tow,
Yeah.
gas power, rent that.
Right.
We'll get all the bags, did all the calculations, figure it out, right? We get all the bags. So I'm like, all right. Bri's like, yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just hump him over. You know what I mean? It's me, him, Uncle Mike, and we got this kid that I forget how he hooked up. Remember that kid? I think there was a name.
Yeah, he was what, 19?
Something like that.
Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we'll just do it, right? It's going to be nice that day. Let's do it. So I call my dad, right? Who everybody will eventually hear.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
My dad's 100 miles an hour,
I
right?
can't
All the
wait.
time.
That's going to be great.
And he's a dock builder, which is like bridges and things like that, right? So I'm telling him about it. He's all fired up. Yeah, you got to do this. You got to put the pins here, tie this, grout, and all that.
Yeah.
He's in left field, right? I go, Dad, we're building a house. This isn't the Brooklyn Bridge. So the inspector just said, pin it on the 2 ends, and that's it. Well, Chris, he's a structural moron. I'm like, no, he's actually pretty cool. I was like, so we're just going to do this. We're going to do what he said. Okay. Right. So he gives me his idea. I said, Dad, we're going to do it by hand. He goes, oh, really? You're not going to do a concrete truck with a pump? And I go, Dad, we ain't got the money.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right. He goes, well, you guys are strong. You're young, blah, blah, blah. You'll get it. And I said, all right.
Bri's tall.
Yeah, Bri. He loves the fact that Bri's tall, right? Bri's tall. You're smart, Chris. You guys are going to be millionaires. I don't know what that means, Dad.
Because you're tall. And, right.
Well,
that makes
plus,
sense.
and what was the other part, Bri? Because we've known each other for we've known each other for 40
yeah.
years. It was-
Yeah.
yeah. So, all right.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
So Bri's going to take over, right? So now, mind you, my dad's been in construction for whatever 40, 50 years. Bri's whole family has been in construction for the same type of time frame, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Bri. So you're talking to your dad now about what we should do, right, and how this should go.
Yeah, because he's done thousands of pours, right? So, any advice we can get from him is going to be beneficial.
Yep.
So we kind of lay out the plan, and I'm not going to go through it now because we'll go through it more detailed as we continue. But I said, Dad, this is our plan. This is what we're confronted with, and this is how we plan to do it. He's like, I think you guys are nuts. I don't think you're going to be able to do it. I was like, well, this, that, and the other thing. Like, well, we can handle it. Dad. He's like, I wouldn't do it. So, right away we got a situation that is less than favorable, right?
Yep.
The situation sucks, and our two kind of main points of direction, or the people that are giving us the most advice are like, that's not how I would do it, but best of luck, essentially.
Yeah. So he tells me that, right? And now look, I'm, you guys know I'm super competitive when it comes to anything, right? And Bry is worse than me. So me and him are like, fuck that. I'm like, we can't do it?
Right.
So we're like, now we're doing it.
That's good.
Yeah. So now we're doing it, right? So we check the weather, right? It's gonna be hot, but it's gonna be nice, right? So we need
perfect. It was June 20th. June 20th, 2020. I remember the day. And
day before Father's Day, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Day before Father's Day.
That's crazy.
Right?
And
Saturday.
it was glorious. A little hot, but we prefer it hot. So let's just call it the perfect day for this for this task.
The day from hell started out as the perfect looking day. So we get about 400 bags of concrete delivered. Okay.
Well,
yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Watch what Bry means, right? So I'm sorry. Right. Let me back up, Bry. We paid for 400 bags of concrete. Okay.
Yeah.
That gets delivered, kind of.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So this is the start of it.
This is the start. Okay. So we didn't know the day from hell was starting until that, but we pay for that. It gets delivered. The company drops it off. We go pick up the big ass cement mixer with a truck, right?
Mm.
So we get that there. So this thing is huge. Like me and Bry had to manhandle this thing down to where it needs to go.
Right.
It's got wheels and shit, like it's a tow hitch. So we get it over there, and first thing we look at, like now we gotta be like up against the house to pour this little thing. And Bry's like, how the fuck are we gonna pour it? And I go, what do you mean? We're gonna just fucking dump it. And he goes, nah, it's gonna splatter over the house. Look, I go, all right, you're right. So we got Uncle Mike there, right? My Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
And so Uncle Mike's like MacGyver. Like flat out, right, Brian? I mean, the guy will make fucking whatever. He'll make a little house out of fucking paper clips.
I feel like you have 15 fucking uncles. How many uncles?
I got Joey. I got Joey. Tommy.
Yeah.
I got Mike. I got Danny. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And Brian's even worse. How many uncles you got? Brian 9.
Yeah. Well, 6 uncles.
Okay. All right.
And then 3 aunts. So there's 11 of them. My dad, 7 boys, or I'm sorry, 8 boys, 3 girls.
Yeah. So there you go. So
all kinds of help.
Yeah. So all construction, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in construction, right?
And they all one form or another.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they all informed both of us not to do this. Like I'm talking starting. Like we don't go be something else. Right? And me, Brian did. We never did this shit, right? And then now we're into it. So anyway, so back to the story.
It's working out.
So Uncle Mike makes his own concrete chute, right?
Yeah.
In like, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Out of what?
Yep.
Like wood and shit.
Oh, okay.
Uncle Joey gives us a concrete vibrator. So this is the plan, right? We're going to pour at the corner. Uncle Mike's chute's going to pour it. We're going to vibrate that shit, and it's going to wrap around. Right? So this is what our plan is, right?
I'm trying to put it all together.
So start in the corner of this room right here. We're dumping here, and it's going to wrap around this room. That's the plan.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, we just got to move fast so it doesn't set up.
Can we go back to what a concrete vibrator is?
Well,
because that just...
It looks like a vibrator if you want to, however you want to talk about it.
Okay.
And it vibrates.
All right.
So if you get concrete,
so what is it? It just shakes the cement out.
It vibrates the shit out of it, and it kind of lets it settle.
In. I got it.
So you don't have like pockets and stuff.
Okay.
All right. So me and Bry's the muscle, right? I'm little. Bry's fucking. We're loading this shit up, man. Fucking 5, 6
Bry's
bags.
the muscle.
Bry's throwing it in, right? So he's dumping it in. Bry loves throwing shit around.
Bry, when's the last time you've been to the gym?
He don't need it.
Never. Never. This is my gym.
You're concrete
Yeah,
strong.
yeah, you take me to the gym and I can't lift 15 pounds, but like let me lift up, sheets of plywood or 400 bags of Quikrete,
Yeah.
and I'll hang with anybody.
All
That's
right.
true. That's true.
That's that construction strong.
Yep, it's two
Got it.
different, right? So Brian loads this shit up, right? We start mixing it. We're all happy. Yeah, it's fucking mixing. We dump it, right? I'm taking videos, right? Uncle Mike's chute's working. It's going right down. It's pouring. We're vibrating it. So Brian's loading right there. We got the kid walking from the driveway with the bags.
Mm.
He's bringing them to Brian. Brian's loading the mixer. Uncle Mike's playing engineer. I'm vibrating. Shit's flowing, right? We're about what, hour in, Brian?
Yeah.
Something like
So it's going about as well as it could, and a couple little caveats. The kid right away, I see the kid doesn't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's 19, so we're like, all right, we got a 19-year-old kid here. He can lug the bags. Like he should have twice the energy that us 2 40-year-old men have,
Yeah.
right? So like he'll do the running. Right away, I'm like, all right, this kid, he doesn't exactly know what hustle means, but he's keeping the pace, and we're getting it done. It seems like it's going to work.
Okay.
So yeah, we're about an hour in, and things are going according to plan.
Yes. Perfect
He
words.
doesn't have
right?
it. I love that. That was
I know,
great.
I actually forgot about that. I forgot that, he wasn't there. But I was like, whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, about the hour in, right, the kid comes over and he goes, hey, I'm not sure how much more concrete you need, but there's about 30 bags left. And I go, the fuck you just say? And he goes,
So
"There's
so you had 400, almost 400, right? Was that
we
it?
thought.
Yeah. And he said you only got 30.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking on the ground. There's empty bags. I'm like, bro, I go, there's no way we just loaded 330 bags.
Mhm.
So I'm going through. I call up the store, and I go, how many bags? Now they stack this shit like Tetris.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest to count because the bags are all interwoven,
Oh
right?
yeah. That's probably,
just look,
that's probably
right?
like a guesstimate at this point, right?
We see like 2 pallets, and we're like, oh yeah, I mean it's a shit ton of cement, so like we got to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to get 4 pallets.
So that's a good start.
We get 2.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck.
Way off.
So I'm calling the store, and I'm flipping, right? And they're like, all right, best we can do is we'll get you a truck there to bring up 1 pallet.
So they charged you. They did charge you for the 400, but they shorted you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Problem 1.
Okay.
Least of our problems right now, but problem 1.
Right.
Problem 2, they're going to bring 1 more pallet, which is not what all we need.
Right.
They can only bring it to the street. Yeah. So remember, 80 feet, right? Right? 80-pound bags.
Construction strong coming in.
Yeah, well, luckily we had the guy there that was helping with the excavating. So he has a skid steer with the bucket. So we're like, all right, you know what? Not gonna get mad.
Yeah.
He's gonna pull up with the bucket. Me and the kid are gonna load it with Bri, right? We're gonna load it. He's gonna drive it to the back. We're gonna unload it. All right.
This is the one that doesn't have it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the best, right? So we're doing that now. Next thing is where are we getting the other pallet from?
Mhm.
Now I got the best they could do for me is I can come there with
Because that's like you're short the cement, so you can't. Everything's going to start settling, right?
that's another
Yeah,
problem.
And then you start.
Yeah.
And
So
you're
it's not
only
like we
gonna be
can just
like
leave and say, all right,
3/4,
you know
right.
what, we'll do what we can and come back to it. No, like once you get this started,
You're
you're
in.
committed. You
Yeah.
got to finish it. So like now
Oh
we're
my
scrambling.
God.
So I'm like, all right. I'm like, Bri, I'm like, you got this with this kid. Uncle Mike, yeah, we got it. I drive to the store.
Mhm.
They're gonna load an entire pallet on my truck, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm hot. Like I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm waiting back there, and I'm like, I'm getting out, like, where the fuck is this? So finally, they get it loaded. Drive back, right? So they're rolling. They're like, all right, we're not doing too bad. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna do the same process. Load it up, and we go, okay, all right, we're about up the side of the house. Now we're at the next corner, so we got to move this thing again. This whole apparatus.
That's crazy.
All right, so we get it set up. We move it, right?
Mhm.
You got to pull start it, right? I don't know if it was me or you, but we pull it, right? We pull the fucking string right out of it. So it's like your lawnmower, you know what I mean? Pull the string right. So I'm like, we're looking at each other
I
like,
think we just look at each other.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
one of us is holding it. Let's just say I'm holding it, and we just look at each other like, same thing. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And we're, at this point, we're halfway destroyed,
Yeah.
because we've already lugged 200 something bags. You know what I mean? And moving this cement mixer, it's not blacktop. We're trying to traverse all the dirt that we removed in order to form up these the footers. We're pulling this thing over these mounds of dirt, so it sucks.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, right. The whole yard has been torn up now because of what's
Moving
going on. So we got
around,
dirt everywhere, right? This is a key factor for later. Dirt everywhere. Right. So Uncle Mike's like, just calm down. I'll fix it, right? So he takes a couple shots.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. In about 10 minutes, he's got it back up. Cool. So now we got
He worked that construction magic then.
Oh yeah, always. He was
awesome.
perfect for he passed away now, right? We don't have him with us anymore. But he was perfect for those, like, whatever you got to do to get out of a situation.
Yep.
He was there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he came up. He said he was going to have a little wood shop later on. He said nothing's perfect. That was going to be called. Mike would never give you the perfect job, but he would get you whatever needed to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
So he gets us back up and running. We're trying to get water, right? We're in the backyard now. It's around lunchtime, I'm guessing, right? So
Yeah.
hottest time at that point, basically. Let's start rolling again. Fucking, I don't know if the thing cut off or what it was, but we had to pull start again, rip it right out again.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
Nope.
Well, he just put it. He did the construction magic, and it just didn't really.
It worked, and
For a
then
minute.
yeah, and then so
Okay.
we again.
Yep.
So we're sitting there again. We got
Yeah.
another delay, right?
Adding up.
Now, let's pause for a second. It's starting to no longer be that hot because clouds are rolling in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Which I don't know if we were aware of or not. I don't remember. And we have 75 sheets of drywall getting delivered.
I just remembered that.
Yeah. So we're looking at each other like, all right, we got, I don't know how much time until it's going to rain. We got to finish this. Kid's cooked, right? Like he's on the verge of death. Okay. So Bry calls his nephew, who works with us now. But at the time, I mean, what was he, 16?
He's 14.
14
No,
or whatever?
14. I mean, it was 5 years ago. So, he was 14 years old. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
shit.
It's almost
15.
6 years.
He's
Almost
15.
6 years ago. Yeah. So he's 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't drive. So
That's perfect.
I don't remember. Did you go get him or did you get a ride?
Yeah, he was in Bristol, thank God. So
Yes.
I shot over there to pick him up,
So
and
again-
I look a wreck. You know what I mean? Like we're probably 5 hours in that time. We're filthy. I'm covered in concrete dust and dirt and everything.
Yep.
I'm like, I call him. I'm like, dude, we need your help. I show up. He's like, oh boy, what are you guys doing? I was like, we're mixing cement. It'll be all right, but I need your muscle.
Yeah.
So he's a trooper too. It's in his blood.
Yeah, yes, he is. And we needed him for we're like thinking the drywall. So, in key point of the concrete dust, there's lime in concrete.
That's right. Yeah.
Lime, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
So, we're like, all right, we're gonna finish this shit. So we start going again, right? We're getting we're almost to the end now. We're getting there, and it's starting to rain a little bit. And I look at the drywall out in the driveway, and I'm like, all right, they wrapped it in plastic. Like, all right, cool. So Bry's nephew's helping us. We're trying to finish, right? And I don't know why, but I walked over to the drywall, and I'm like, there's a fucking hole in the plastic. I was like,
And this is with the clouds and all that.
Yeah.
It didn't start. It wasn't raining yet at all, right?
it was like spitting.
Okay.
All right. So I'm like, all right, Aiden. I'm like, that's his nephew, right? I'm like, we call him A-Train, right?
Oh.
So I'm like, can you start moving these pieces and we'll try to help. So he's on that by himself, right? 75 sheets, 15-year-old.
Mhm.
So he starts. So we're doing that, right? And he's doing, he's doing it, right? But it's just taking a while. So we're trying to finish this, and it's starting to rain more. So we keep going. Eventually, we know we need to cut it, right? So we get to we actually get to the end, and I think there was one small spot left that we're like, look, it's raining now, and we just got to do this another day.
This is so you didn't get the cement and all that stuff down yet, right?
No, I'm saying the cement
It's down.
The cement's there. We got one spot that we know, we just can't continue. It's
Right,
raining now.
right.
So we pivot off of that. We go, now we're helping move the drywall. Because we can't, it's bad enough we're we got fucked 4 times. Like, let's try to not make
Yeah,
it
but
5.
before
Did I
we
miss something?
called it, I mean, we worked. It was torrential. I mean, it started pouring bad. Maybe not like it did yesterday, but it was bad. The backyard was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was a
yeah, I
mess.
didn't
It
know.
was a muddy, sloppy mess.
Did we finish the concrete first before it got to that point, or did we have to keep going?
No, because we kept trying to drag that thing. So we got around the back of the house and up towards where the slider was. So
Yeah.
I'd say we're about 2/3 of the way done when the sky opens up.
Yeah.
And we're not to the point where we can stop yet. So we're still fighting with this thing and trying to get as much done in the torrential downpour. And we're trying to move this cement mixer, and now it's impossible. The wheels are just stuck in mud. We have no footing whatsoever. I lost my shoe once or twice because you put your shoe in the mud and the mud keeps it. It happened to Chris too once or twice.
That I remember. Like
So
like it's if anybody's seen The Outsiders, the movie, do you remember the fight scene with the mud and Swayze's jamming the dude's face in the mud? Like that's what the backyard looked like.
Damn.
You had
and the fucking machine. The fucking machine keeps failing. I mean, every 20th pull, the pull string comes out.
Yep.
So we have to fix that. Literally, like every 20 to 30 minutes, we got to open this thing up and kind of reattach it.
That's the key point for the listeners, right? It's not like you can just keep this thing running and dump it. Like you have to mix it. It's got to stop so you can pour it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why. So every time we stopped it, we had to start it back up again. You know what I mean? So it was just it was a mess.
Rain, the guy that doesn't have it. You got fucking what else? Mud.
Yeah.
And then
mind you, Uncle Mike's
supplies.
Uncle Mike's 70 years old too.
Oh my god.
Ish. You know what I mean at the time? Like
he can figure anything out, but physically, he's of diminished physical capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we love having him on the team, but physically there's only so much he can give and it's very little. So he fills in blank. So essentially Chris and I are doing this. Chris had, we had to lug basically 400 bags of concrete. We're moving this thing. So 2 guys, almost 2.5, we'll say, poured this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With all of these challenges. And at the end, we'll go through the challenges again, because as we go through it, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it was the worst fucking day ever.
Well, I don't know why this only happened to me.
Yeah.
But so my pants are soaked, right? And I carry a lot of shit in my pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was the combination of wet, that, and the lime. I had these huge burn marks on my legs.
Oh my god, man.
So every time
That's
I walked,
crazy.
I'm crying inside, and I'm like, "Fuck, man, I don't even want to move, dude." And so when the day was over, when I finally got through hell, like I had legit red, I got road rash.
But you got like almost like a 1st-degree burn, 3rd-degree burn,
it was
whatever the
crazy.
fuck that is.
Yeah. So, all right, we're winding down, right? Concrete's almost done. We call it. We're like, we're gonna hit this later. We get the drywall in, right? Everyone takes a breath. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
That machine's got to go back.
The same fucking day?
Well, we thought about leaving it there.
Yeah.
But we also figured this mud isn't going to dry like tomorrow.
Nah.
So we definitely want to walk back there again. We're already a mess.
Yeah.
So all of us, and I mean all of us, like all 5 of us, like Bryce said, had to manhandle this thing to get to the front. Like it probably.
Well, the kid was gone then.
Oh, that's right.
It was just the 4 of us. It was
me.
me, you, Aiden, and Mike.
Yeah, and would it take us about?
That kid boogied. I think he took off at lunch. I think right. That's what I was saying. He was a bozo. Like I don't even think he barely worked half a day.
Maybe. So it's 4 of us. It took us a good at least 30 minutes to get it from the backyard to the front.
Yeah,
and it
was brutal.
It's 6 o'clock at night now. All right, we were there.
wrap.
We were there at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 6 o'clock at night. We just get this thing to the front yard. Now we got to push it up the front yard because it's on an incline to Bry's truck, hitch it.
Yeah.
All right, that's the first thing. We didn't calculate exactly correct, so we have extra concrete now.
So even though you got shorter,
We got shorted, but the quantity we paid for and got was, so we needed like whatever it was, 350 bags. We ordered 400, right?
Is this stuff was sitting out in the rain already? Does that matter?
Like
your concrete bag sitting in the rain?
None of that was my concern at that point. But we had to get it. So Uncle Mike's driving the dump truck.
Yeah.
So we're loading the 50 bags back into the dump truck, right? So we get all that done.
Yeah. So our position was, if it gets wet, Morgan, it's pretty much trash. But fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they
return
screwed
whatever
us.
they
Like they
got,
contributed to this day from hell.
Yeah.
So anything that was even close, we're loading up and we're returning because fuck them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you're taking this back for what you just put us through.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. So we all get in our vehicle. I get in my truck, Brad gets in his, Uncle Mike gets in the dump truck. So we're all like, all right, we're gonna go meet up. Now we had to go back to the depot, right? And so Brad's bringing it there. So we all pull out, right? And me and Brad go left, and Mike goes right. I'm like, where the fuck's he going? So, Uncle Mike's classic, like, person where he don't really answer his phone. Mm-hmm. So I'm calling, and the problem is, for whatever reason, I had to be there to do the return. So I finally get my phone. He said, "What's up?" And I go, "Yeah, where are you going?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm going over there." And I go, "Nah." I'm like, "We got to go to the one down there." And he's like, "Jesus God!" He just hangs up. The phone. So I'm like, so we meet over there.
Jesus God.
He doesn't even say bye. He just hangs up. So Brad gets there with the cement mixer. He's taking care of that. I'm standing there. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "I'll just wait for Mike." So Mike finally pulls up, and he gets there. I go to the service desk. I look like I just been in a war, right?
Yeah.
And the kid's like, "What's up?" And I go, "We got to return this concrete." He's like, "Oh, yeah, just put it on a cart." I said, "I ain't putting shit anywhere." All right? I said, "Somebody's coming with a forklift and a pallet and getting this at, like, I don't care."
Yeah.
All right. So you can see in my face, right? So we unload that. Now, mind you, the next day is Father's Day, right? So we had this whole plan, like my family. Brad's going to do his thing with his family, right? So my plan was to pick my dad up, drive down to the shore, because my wife and daughter are already down there.
Yeah. And this is is this the same place? It's the same place that you rent, right?
Yes.
Except you have like your own place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 8:30 at this point, and I'm whipped.
Yep.
Like, so I call my dad. He's like, "Yeah, I'm all ready." You know what I mean? and I'm like, "Dad, listen." He's like, "What happened?" And I go, "I'm not going to talk about it right now." I said, "Because I don't really want to hear about anything, and I'll just pick you up when I'm ready." And he's like, "What's wrong?" I go, "Dad, the day was fucked. Okay, I'm destroyed, and I'll just pick you up later." So I take a shower and all that. I go to pick him up. So now we're gonna drive down the shore.
Did you give yourself a little first aid with the burns and all that shit?
I honestly, I don't even remember. Maybe. I hope. I don't even know. I think I put on like sweatpants or something. Hopefully. So I pick him up and I'm like, I'll tell him the story while we're driving. We got to ride. Now I'm delirious, mind you.
Yeah.
Right. So we start driving, and like I tell him a little bit, and then my dad's a better storyteller than I am. So he's telling me about 1984 and all this other crazy shit. And it's keep me awake, but I don't remember driving there really.
Right.
So we get down there, and my wife's calling me, right? Like, "What's going on?" I'm like, I can't, I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, "All right." So I get down there, and she looks at my legs and shit. She's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Listen." So I told her the whole story.
Everything happened.
Everything. So now, mind you, I get down to the shore.
Hell's what happened.
So I get down to the shore, right? I text Bri. I'm like, "Yo," I'm like, I'm glad we're together now, because before it was me and my uncles and we did a lot, but this would have been rough, right? I'm glad we're together, and
we're all getting like emotional shit. I'm like, "I love you, man." Like,
we're all, we're fucking
like you legit
because
just came back from war.
The first thing we said, dude, that was like a war. Yeah. Like, I think either you texted or I was in the middle of texting, like, "Dude, I feel like I was in a war today." And you're like, yeah, we were.
I felt like we were in high school. Like we just got out of like a 3-on-6 fight, and we were the 3. Or whatever, 2-on-8, whatever you want to call it, right? That's what I felt like. And I felt like texting, like, we survived. So, I'm really glad you're with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're texting all that, "Love you, brother, blah, 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 happy Father's Day." And I get down, and I'm down there, and I'm like, tell my wife, I'm like, I'm going to sleep. So we pass out. So I wake up like the middle of the night for some reason.
I don't understand. This shit ain't done yet?
No, this is just little tidbits, right? Yeah, the hell's over.
Yeah, all right.
This is just a little, So we didn't have the house for that long, right? So I wake up, and I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, let me look out the window. I didn't know where I was, kind of. I look out the window and I see like all these like bushes and stuff and like weeds and all this. I'm like, where the fuck am I? And I'm looking at I'm looking, and I'm like, I thought I drove to the shore. Like, where's all these like this green shrub? Like, what is this? So I'm staring. I look around. I go to the other window now. So I open that up. I'm like, all right, I see our cars. I'm definitely at the shore. So let me go back to this window.
Right.
So I open it back up again. I'm like, oh fuck, that's my neighbor's house. I never looked over there before. Like the whole time we owned the house, I never looked.
Yeah.
So his shit's like overgrown, like ivy.
And you're like freaking out. I don't even know when you're at.
You know, like where my house is, like the woods is behind me. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not fucking home.
Yeah.
It was just my head was gone, man. It was just
A hell of a day.
It was a hell of a day. Brian and I talk about it often. It's just living, and but it's a good thing for people that are flipping and doing construction. Like this shit isn't all roses.
No.
I mean,
from our first episode, I've had some people listen to it, and they're like, I was thinking about doing rentals, but after listening to that fucking story, I'm not as interested anymore.
Yeah. Now, and again, I advise people that want to do this, like, yeah, do it. But it's like everything else. Like, you got to have the hustle. Like I live this shit.
Yeah.
All of it. Like, my brain don't turn off.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, like, this is what we do.
Yep.
And we have processes, procedures, and everything's pretty cut and dry. But there are things that pop up.
Yep.
But, our motto, and what you'll hear is get shit done.
There you go.
Like, flat out.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I didn't even know that was your motto. I kind of did, but I didn't.
yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's always whatever, like it's figure it the fuck out and get shit done. So,
GSD, man.
GSD all day.
Damn.
So, we that's how you get through it. There's 4 of us in the company, and we all have that mentality. When shit hits the fan, you got to push through it. So anybody that's looking to get into flipping, it's not on TV where we're arguing about, you paint the wall the wrong color and all that. Like, I mean, we don't get me wrong. Me and Trace will argue about that stuff, but that's not the drama.
Yeah.
This is the drama. I haven't seen anything on DIY HGT that none of that, none of that happening.
If it is, it's like a 2-minute clip and that's it.
Yeah, nah. This is crazy. Yeah. Shoes falling off. I got line burns. You know what I mean? Bry's hair is completely gray, right? Like his whole head's concrete.
Yeah,
and he's just mixing it. But
and physically, we're just shredded.
Yeah.
I've never felt like that. Like if I imagine if you were in a 12 round boxing match,
that's how you'd feel.
That's probably what you'd feel like. Yeah, man. Just fucking mess.
Yeah.
Well,
but we learned something, right?
Yeah, I guess.
The moral of the story is this:
Uh-oh.
when you have an enclosed porch or an open frame porch, and that's on record, that is not a livable space. So, like your back porch, right?
Yeah.
If that was just like enclosed and you use it, like people call it, 3-season room or something like that. If there's no heat and air about there, don't count it. And the first thing you want to do is take your little shovel, dig down along the side of that slab, and see if you got concrete. Because if you don't, the inspector
doesn't count.
The inspector's going to call for it, unless you're doing shit under the radar. But I don't advise it. But
the more you know, I guess.
Yeah. So
damn.
Yeah, that was a day from hell.
The day from hell.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Bri, you agree?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan, you were there. You were there. You helped us demo that house. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, you were there.
Was that the one? I can't remember.
We were taking down the siding, taking out the windows.
Yeah, you were there early on.
Shitty ass. Was it
a little addition in the back?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember. The siding was the worst. Wasn't it like this old school?
Yeah, it was aluminum,
asbestos.
and there was asbestos underneath it.
That shit.
Yeah, it was a
mess.
I
fucking remember that.
Yeah, you were there. That's right. You were there. Yeah, you were like, fuck this. I ain't helping these dudes no more.
One and done.
Yeah.
I think I was lifting fucking boulders and putting them in the trash or some shit like that. It was
probably.
Crazy.
Yep.
Wow. Good shit, man.
Yeah.
That's part of flipping, I guess. Part of the business.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, all right. Well, I think that wraps this one up.
Yep.
All right. Bri, thanks for joining the fucking show. Appreciate it. Episode number 2.
Gentlemen, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Later.
Been a pleasure. And with that, that's today's show. And like every other freaking podcast out there, feel free to rate, comment, share, subscribe, like, and don't forget to follow us on YouTube if you're one of those freaking visual aid type humans and need to see our beautiful
pound that
faces.
like button.
That's right. Thanks for listening and watching. Nailed and Screwed. We out.